67, 50, 40, and 10 points in Elemental Expert because DKs have a lot of flame damage, even stamina DKs. So I want this 5% because 10 points lost here is not that much, but we gain 5% fire damage. So now what we're testing is Scorched Earth. You see it has two damage components. First one for 8 seconds every 0.5 seconds, like fire arrows, fire damage. And the second one is fire damage on the ground for 6 seconds and it ticks every second. The second damage component actually gets increased by the Maelstrom bow. So increases damage of volley by 161 per tick, increasing by 5-6 every 0.5 seconds. So let's see. Now those are the fire arrows. It's completely fire damage. So it doesn't get buffed by mighty. Now arrows gone, flame damage on the ground. So let's see. For some reason it's always 17. Okay, so 17 hits, 29% and 16.2k damage, and then the second damage component was 6 hits, 83% crit, that's a lot lol, 8.96k damage. So just before we move along, 5-1, 5-4-5, 9-4, okay. Now what I will do is engulfing flames so you get 10% additional flame damage. And even if you don't use this skill as stamina DK, if you have a magic DK in your group, you will benefit from this debuff. At least that's how it works on live. I didn't retest it, but that's how it used to work. Okay, fire gone. So yes, the damage, like, it's not more or less the same, but whatever. I just want to check the damage numbers. So the second Scorched Earth was 600, second it's 545, so engulfing flame works. So you see, like, we don't buff Scorched Earth by mighty, which like gives me 90%, but we have 5% here and 10% here, so it's a 15% overall increase. So if a friendly Magic DK uses this skill on the mob, even you get increased damage. I did not test that, so it might be wrong, but that's how it works on live at the moment, okay? Maybe I will test it later, but it's probably the same, just saying. Now, let me write up the first few ticks with the normal one. So we have 5, 1, 0, 5, 4, 5. Then we have a 9, 5, 9 crit. Then 1, 0, 1, 8 crit. And with the engulfing flames, it's more. It's a 9, 2, 4 crit. 600 normal damage. 6, 3, 9. Oh no. Yes, 6, 3, 9. 6, 7, 8. Now another thing. So let's just test this now. They changed Hawkeye passive. Before you did 15% extra damage on immobilized enemies. Now every time you do a light attack you deal 5% more damage for 4 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Where's my test subject? There it is. 1, 2, 3. Just keep light attacking. Otherwise the buff will run out. Okay, guess that's enough. So let's see, did it actually work? Light, light, light. 586. And we know before we had 501, so yes, you get the 15%. Anyway, now another thing I want to test, kindling. Increases the damage of flame ability, burning effects by 66. So, burning effects. So it will not really increase Scorched Earth damage, but just to show you guys that it will not. Only if you get the burning proc. We did not get any, so yeah. So you see 545 second tick, like in our test before, so kindling doesn't work with Scorched Earth. Because it's only the burning effects that you get, not the burning dot damage. Okay. Let me just check the passives. Nope. Now, World in Flame. Let's test this one. Increases the damage of flame-based area of effect abilities. Oh, this back and forth running, jeez. Go on, giant. Left and right, left and right. Can't touch me. Okay. So let's see. 578. And let me see. Here it was 545. 578. So this one 6% works. So you see, Scorched Earth on a DK is viable because 6% here, 5% here is 11% already. Then let me think. 10% from here if a body puts it, and there's always a dude that puts this on a mob. So we have 21% increased damage from Scorched Earth. That's more than mighty. That's why it's so strong, and you don't need to reapply it every 8 seconds. Because this one, it holds like 8 seconds and an additional 6 seconds. So it's 14 seconds. That's why it is stronger. Ticks are not weak, that's the thing, you know. Like it shows like only like a fourth or half the damage on the ground effect, but because it gets increased a lot by the Maelstrom bow, those are actually strong ticks. Now, let's see if it's armor or spell penetration. Okay, 6 to 9 it was. 5-4, 5-4-0. Reset, fracture. 6-3-7, so major fracture works. So it's armor penetration on this one. Basically it's flame damage, but it works with armor penetration, okay? That's how it is. Then, what else do we need to test? I think that's it. Now let's swap to Arrow Barrage. Doesn't matter. So you see, I launch a multitude of arrows into the sky to rain down, dealing 7 monthly physical damage. Every 0.5 seconds for 8 seconds. The range is bigger, that's the thing. 558. So you see it's 558 and Scorched Earth was 510 with no buffs on. So arrow 558. Let me just respec the shit again, because I already forgot how much damage Scorched did with this shit up. And this one is also always on the boss, or on the mobs or whatever. That's the thing. So the first tick, 593. 593. So you see, we can conclude that Scorched Earth, especially for a stamina decay, because on PvE setup I put 10 points here. That's 5% damage, engulfing flames another 10% from a magic body. So it's 15%, and then we have a passive here. This another 6%, so we get 21% damage increase. And Scorched Earth holds for 14 seconds, and the last ticks are really strong. So you only need to swap to the second bar every 14 seconds, and the ticks are stronger. That's the thing, that's why Scorched Earth, especially on a stamina decay, is better. And even on other classes, because of the Maelstrom bow, if you have the Maelstrom bow, Scorched Earth, if you swap to the second bar every 14 seconds, will deal more damage than Arrow Barrage. That's the thing. If you swap to the second bar every 8 seconds, then roll with Arrow Barrage. But if you do not do that, then it's Scorched Earth. And the range difference is not that huge. The range difference is not huge at all, that's the thing. You have 5 meters here, you have 7 meters here. So yeah. If you have any thoughts about this or any like comments, improvements or whatsoever, just tell me guys. And what do you prefer about Stem DK? It's definitely Scorched Earth. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon. Cheers.